Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the blog today. Thanks for taking time out to read and to watch this video. My church has been going through the story of Noah. We've been doing a series on this story, and I'm just really thankful for the way it's being taught because it's been challenging and convicting to me and not what I expected. Normally, I feel like it's presented like a kid's story and it's just safe and mediocre. But I feel like this time around, it's being taught as something valuable to my story and valuable to the story of others. And I think it's going to mobilize the church in a really awesome way. So I'm really thankful for the way it's being taught now and the word that God's delivering through it. I'm just thankful for His revelation in the process. And so the reason I decided to do a video today is because I want to share with you just what that story is teaching me. And I thought it would be a nice change for a video. And also, I have a lot of words about it, so I thought it might be easier to just watch a video than read all the words. So I'm trying to make it a little easy because I know I always have lots of words. So it's been a really challenging season for me. A year and a half ago, we started a location through Nightlight International, and it's called Nightlight Branson, and that's the ministry I work for. I was the person who started the location here, and it's been challenging. It's been amazing. God has shown up. He's so faithful, and we get to see Him meet people and interact with people and really impacting the kingdom. And I'm just really excited and super humbled that He shows up so consistently and so faithfully, and that we get to be part of it and we get to watch Him. And it was interesting hearing the Noah story. If you've never read it, you can read it in Genesis 6. It starts there and it goes for a few chapters. And I included a link to the series online. If you want to watch the Noah series, you can also listen to it or download it on iTunes. And I would encourage you to, because it's been awesome. And it's been presented in a really new way. So I would just challenge everyone to maybe go by and listen to it. But Noah is this crazy guy. He's super religious, super righteous, and in a world full of evil people, he had to look ridiculous. And I think a lot of times we feel like that. We feel like we look ridiculous, like we're too serious about our faith, or maybe we need to calm down, or maybe we're too aggressive, or whatever. The lies that the enemy tells us. And Noah was that guy. And it says he was the only righteous man left on the earth. And so he had to look ridiculous. And so God comes in and He wants to bring this flood and destroy the planet and everyone on it because of the evil that exists. And I'm just so encouraged by how ridiculous he probably looked in that setting. Just everyone on the earth is evil. He's still following God and he's still walking closely to God. And I want to be that kind of person that's kind of crazy and stands out. And so it kind of caught my attention when I realized, like, oh, he's not just a guy that was being obedient. He was kind of crazy going in. And so the next thing that happens is he builds a boat. And he builds a boat in an environment, in a world, in a place, and time, and culture where they didn't probably never seen the rain. And so he's telling everyone he's building this boat because he's honoring God, and he's being obedient because God's going to bring a flood. And everyone probably had to laugh. And Noah probably thought he was a little crazy. He probably questioned his own sanity. Like, did I make that up? Did God really say that? Or am I sure I need to do that? Am I sure I need to be obedient in that? Or like, is this even possible? And it wasn't. It's not ever possible. Our callings are never possible separate from God. And so he probably seemed and looked ridiculous and thought he was ridiculous. And he started building this boat in the middle of the desert. And he had to cut down all the trees, him and his kids, and like they didn't have lumber mills. It wasn't like it is now, right? And so a lot of work and a lot of groundwork just to establish this boat and building it. And it took over 120 years. It's a long time. And I really can relate to Noah in this part of the story because when we started the Nightlight Branson location, everyone thought we were crazy. We had some encouragement and we had some supporters, and there were some people who were like, yeah, we need this, you should do this. But for the most part, when we tell people there's a Branson location, they're shocked. They're surprised that there would be sexual exploitation in the Bible Belt where we are. In Branson and Ozark and Springfield, where we work, and we explain to people what the need is and why we're here, and that there really is trafficking, and that there really is prostitution, and women and men are really being exploited, and we want to bring freedom to them, and that's why we started this location. But it really did feel like, are we building a boat in the middle of the desert? Like, is there a need for this ministry? And I could see the need, but I thought maybe I've just been in the issue so long and looking at it so long that I'm just making it up wherever I go. I just see it everywhere now. And I prayed for a long time. I asked God to show me and confirm over and over and over that this is what we should do and this is where he had us. And man, he's faithful to do that when we ask and we're in line with his will. He's always going to show us if we're in line or we're not. And so he made it really clear in a lot of situations that this is what we should do, and he gave us a little insight into the sex industry here, and so we were able to move forward with some confidence. But everyone thought we were crazy. And there's still people who think we're crazy, and there are people who try to convince us that we need to close the location and that there's no need for our organization here. And we're okay with that, because sometimes when you're obedient to God and you're following the call in your life, you look like a crazy person. So for me, looking at the story of Noah and seeing him build this boat where there was no rain is kind of crazy and encouraging, because someone else did it before me and they survived. And there are moments in this process where it has felt like this might kill me, because it's requiring me to be selfless. It's requiring me to die to myself. And so there really is an aspect of death that is happening in this process. And it's not always fun, and it's not always ideal, and I don't always love my job. And if you're a financial supporter or a prayer supporter or a supporter in any way, I do love my job and I love what I get to do. But there are just moments where it's discouraging and it's hard. It's hard to keep going. And I look at the story of Noah, and it took him over 120 years to build the boat. That's a long time. And I know that there were probably seasons and times in that where he was discouraged and he was tired. And the longer that you do something before you see a large amount of fruit, you start to think you're crazy. You start to think that there's never going to be any fruit. And so for Noah, he probably thought the rain is never going to come. I am never going to finish this boat. This journey is never going to be done. And the longer that the journey lasted, the more difficult that it got. And so if you're a Nightlight volunteer, with Branson, I feel like this is really a word for us. I feel like we're in the middle of building our boat. And I feel like there's so much ahead of us. There's so much to be excited about and expectant for. And God is going to move this year. But I think because we're still in the middle of building our boat, and I know that I'm impatient and I want to see God do great things now. And he is, and he will. But we have to be patient, because I do think that this will be a year with challenges and obstacles and us trying to move forward when we need to build more solid foundation. And I'm excited because God is with us and he's faithful and he has so much in store for us. And I think he's going to challenge us this year. I prayed as we entered the new year for a word and a verse for this location, and the verse comes from Timothy, and it's preach the gospel boldly, be prepared in and out of season. And that's what we're going to do. And so this is a year of preparation for us, which means a lot of work and maybe not seeing a lot of fruit. And that's challenging sometimes. It's discouraging. But I look at the end of Noah's story, and he finishes the boat and the rain comes and God is faithful and he protects them, and they get off the boat and they repopulate the earth. And now we're here with the story that we have. God sustained the church and the gospel through Noah. And if Noah would have been disobedient, who knows what that would mean for the story of the church and the gospel that we love to share and that we've experienced freedom in. And I want to be that kind of person, and I want our ministry to do that. I want it to sustain the church and mobilize the church and set people free through the gospel. So I'm really excited because I feel like God is opening those doors for us, and He's going to challenge us, and He's going to grow us this year. So I would just encourage you in the middle of this year, as we enter in with trials and struggles and lots of prep work, don't be discouraged by the lack of fruit that we might see, because God is with us and He's faithful, and there is a lot of fruit to come, and there's a lot of freedom to come. And I'm excited to see and be part of that. And I'm excited to have you be part of that. I'm excited to see the work that God's going to do in your life. And we're a bunch of crazies building a boat in the middle of the desert, and that's okay, because God's going to use it to tell a great story, and it's super humbling to be part of that. And so if you're not on the Nightlight Branson team and you're watching this, be encouraged. If you're in the middle of building your own boat and you feel like no one cares and everyone thinks you're crazy and no one wants to be on your team and your friends are all leaving you and you're just the crazy person who's too serious about their faith, because God is with you and He's going to use that story for something awesome. And no, you're not alone, that we're all in that boat with you. And He's teaching all of us, and He's challenging all of us, and He's going to go before us and prepare the way. And I'm just really thankful that He's the kind of God that would do that. So if you have time, you should definitely stop by the website and watch the Noah series, or listen to it, or download the podcast on iTunes. And I hope that it encourages you the way this has encouraged me. And thanks for stopping by the blog. Thanks for watching the video, and have a wonderful week.